Buongiorno professor Semenza, le volevo chiedere se ci volesse raccontare quali sono gli impatti del cambiamento climatico sulla popolazione anziana.
That's a good question. And I think the biggest factor is, in fact, heat-related mortality. So when it gets hot, older people are increased risk for heat-related mortality because they can't sweat as much as normal people. As younger people, they don't feel the heat as much. They're isolated, so they don't get the help that they need. They don't drink as much. And so their risk is much higher compared to other populations. In fact, it turns out there are two populations. One are the elderly and one are the infants. So those are two high-risk populations when it gets really, really hot. And we need to make sure that we reach out to those individuals, particularly the socially isolated individuals that need the help to, go to a cooling shelter, go to a cooler space, make sure that they dress slightly, they don't exert themselves, they drink enough. There are lots of things that can be done, but you need to reach out to these people that need the help. And it's very important for all of us. It has to be a societal enterprise to look after these people and try to make sure that we prevent these kind of deaths from happening in the first place, because nobody has to die from heat-related mortality.
Grazie. Invece, quali potrebbero essere delle possibili soluzioni a questo cambiamento climatico e all'effetto sugli anziani?
Yeah, so that's a good question. In fact, there are lots of potential solutions that we could take and we should take. And if you think about the heat, it turns out that there are lots of interventions that can be implemented, and we call them heat health action plans. And these heat health action plans, they have several components to them. One is a meteorologic component where you measure the climatic conditions and you forecast a heat wave that will arrive in 5 days or 7 days. And once you know that, you can then prepare the machinery to get the message out to the most vulnerable population. So you sound an alert that goes out to the public. And what has been done in the past, they've told people it's hot, it's hot, it's hot, and there's no information in that because everybody knows it's hot. You need to tell people what to do. So that message needs to go out to specific high-risk groups, the vulnerable populations in society that tend to be the elderly, but as I say, also the extremely young, the socially isolated ones, the ones that are not embedded in social networks. You need to reach these individuals with these messages, make sure that they take care of themselves, make sure that they have everything that they need, that they drink a lot of water, take it easy, don't exercise, and you make sure that they are taken care of. And then once you have reached those populations, you want to make sure that the general population in general obviously gets the message through media like radio, TV, and all that, because you might be able to reach certain high-risk populations, but you won't reach them all. So you have to make sure that you improve your early warning systems to get to all these people.
Grazie. Se posso un'ultima domanda, quali sono i paesi più in sofferenza in questa condizione?
So if you look at Europe, you can look at different extreme heat wave years, and it turns out that Italy is disproportionately impacted by heat-related mortality, but not only. So Italy is probably the top one, but so is Spain, so is Greece, so is Bulgaria and Romania. A lot of the southern European countries are at risk, but not only. I mean, the majority of the impact is in those countries, but we see heat-related mortality also in the north. Even in Sweden, where I live, you can see heat-related mortality related to warmer climates. So for example, we had a massive heat wave in 2018 where a lot of people died, but it's not on the scale as Italy, because in Italy you have the convergence of both elderly populations, so they have more older people populations that are potentially at risk, and the heat wave. So the convergence of vulnerable populations and climatic conditions that increase the risk, that is the challenge. How do we cope with that?
Grazie mille.
Oh, perfetto.
May I take a picture?
Sure.